broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
This is the trigger.
I'm turning.
You are. You're going to be Nora in a second.
I'm turning. I feel it. It's coming.
Your evil twin is coming
I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it, guys.
It's coming.
Welcome to the Blacklist AFTERBUZZ After Show for Blacklist Season 2. We are so excited to be back. The song is kind of a downer, but
It is a little bit of a downer, but it's
kind of come out of the gate hard to
It says we three and there's 4 of us, so does that mean one of us is...
That's a hint.
That's a
Didn't I
hint?
say my shadow
Flippo.
and me?
See you
Is that
later.
supposed to walk now?
That's a hit, Flippo.
It's rough, man.
It's a hint.
It didn't take long.
Welcome to the Blacklist
Someone's
After
gotta
Show, AFTERBUZZ After Show. We're back. We're glad to be back. I'm Joe Braswell. I'm joined, as always, by my main man, Nando Velasquez.
Wow, I'm back to main man status.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
And there's Nando, and I'm also
It's only
joined
episode 1.
by my super sweet main gal,
long
Julia
season.
Cearley.
Oh, I'm the super sweet one. Hi, everybody. Good to be back. Super sweet.
And I'm joined, as always, by Joe Sanfelippo.
It's nice to be here with you guys, although I have to tolerate Braswell to be here.
All your Twitter fans are really happy to hear.
Both of them. Yeah, they're...
It's
What is this, the
good.
year of Flippo?
Oh, you're
It's coming.
Flippo.
People don't even know. I'm gonna be
You're
right.
Flippo being right.
I'm gonna be
Being
right
right.
about so many things. You guys are gonna be like, "How is that even possible?"
my God.
And there's yellow blouse in your future.
Never.
It won't even be yellow. It's gonna be. Yeah, it's coming.
This is the year of Flippo being white. I mean, right. What happened? It's true. That's
2
close you're
minutes.
gonna get
We
to
didn't
be.
even last 2 minutes.
Close
No,
you're gonna
those
be to
guys.
being right.
Missed
Yeah.
you boys. Missed you boys a lot.
It's good to be back with all of you here, so it's good to see all of your faces. I haven't seen you all in an entire year.
It's a
Lying.
bold face lie.
Lies.
Fortunately, I see you all the time. But anyway, but we're thrilled to be back. We're very, very excited about the Blacklist coming back, and the show we love came out with a super bang. It was a great episode.
It was.
Yeah,
I felt like they came out guns blazing.
guns blazing. I mean, we had a lot happen in this episode. We got some answers as to who some people are. Some questions that we still have aren't unanswered. We have a lot of theories I know in this room already about some things that are happening. But I don't know, Joe, Flippo, give me your first impressions of this episode.
Let's hear you be right.
Snap impressions.
Easy,
Come on.
easy. Slow down, both of you.
Give me 30
Very
seconds.
excited.
Give me 30 seconds in episode 1. Go.
I thought this was a great episode. I very much enjoyed the opening. I thought the opening was fun, fast, and Spader, he spaded the ish out of it. I like the way they went. I like all the things they threw in this episode. I love that Mary Louise Parker has joined the cast.
Yep.
And I don't know, might be we got a lot of mystery there with Mary Louise Parker. Like, my daughter was in, and then we had to fend for ourselves, and you got crazy weird look on Lizzie's face. I don't know, some mom stuff that might be going on, mom with Red. I don't know. I'm just saying, there's some things. And I really like. I liked that we got Harry Lennox back. I liked that we got another mystery. I liked that we got a mystery diagnosis. We don't know what it is. I like that we got the Kuwait thing hanging over his head. Not so much. We're trying to buddy it up a little bit. And I love that we had Kristen Ritter on because I love her a lot.
A lot of love going on.
A lot of
for
love.
You
in
did a
this
lot of loving.
episode.
There were some
Jules,
things I
what
didn't
about
love,
you?
but I'm not going to talk about them.
I kind of love this
Yes, you
episode.
will.
Speaking of love, I really liked it. You know, I was sort of wavering at the end of season 1, but they've recaptured my interest and came out guns blazing. I think you already said that, but I'm loving the casting choices. Wow, I'm feeling the love too. It's coming out.
See?
Damn it! Look what you've done to me.
It's like we're spitting love.
It's just love everywhere. So the casting was awesome. I like the new Lizzie so far. You know,
Ditch
she's got
the
a
wig.
no F's attitude. Ditch the wig.
First
Thank
network note.
God.
Listen to all of us on Twitter. It's like, she's like, I need a new look. We're like, ditch it.
Ditch the wig.
So that's good. We're very happy about that.
So I thought it was a really exciting episode, and I also really dig Kristen Ritter. I've liked her for a really long time. So
'Cause she's
she's
awesome.
really, really funny is
Yeah,
the thing, and then to
she's
see
good.
her take this dramatic turn.
And she was good, huh?
She was really good. She was creepy, and she played both dynamics of the role really quite well. I was impressed.
Great. Nando.
Yeah, well, I echo Kristen Ritter. I have a big crush on her myself. as well. But of
Get in
course,
line, champ.
yeah, I
Get in
know.
line.
I know. Whenever you and I declare something, you're the one that's always gets. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, Flippo says this." I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
Well, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
15 years of
I know, right? Crazy.
Lot
But
of
you know
anger.
what? This is a show. This is a show that NBC kept promoting as their #1 new show of last season. They used that title like crazy in the upfronts when they were when they were promoting their new season to the advertisers, and there was a major marketing campaign, and it's obvious that they spent a lot of money, and the writers obviously had a nice little rested break because again they came out full throttle from that opening scene with Reddington pretty much unconscious with a bloody lip.
in Cameroon?
In Cameroon, yeah, from that opening scene, bringing Kristen Ritter in, I think, really good. She's a really great actress. For those of you who know her from Bitch in Apartment C or Apartment
B. Don't trust
Don't
the
trust the
B.
B in Apartment
Apartment
23.
23.
Don't trust the B.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't watch that one as much.
Clearly,
I didn't watch that
clearly.
much,
From
but-
those of you who know her from Bitch and C, you know the show. You know her, Kristen Ritter.
I was gonna say.
What?
He remembers her from the Gilmore Girls.
Don't trust the
Gilmore
He loved him some
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. No, I was gonna say Breaking Bad.
Veronica
actually.
Mars, Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
She was
Badass
awesome in
in
Breaking
Breaking
Bad.
Veronica Mars.
I first fell in love with her when she was in the movie She's Out of My League. She was the best friend.
Yeah.
She was the catty best friend, but I thought she was actually just as hot as Alice Eve. But yeah, so
Maybe
overall, really good. Again, one of the reasons why they wanted to do this with that marketing campaign, they wanted to bring new viewers to this show. And that's why I think, especially the opening, they really wanted to get people from the start.
Yeah.
So you could tell they put a lot of effort into this show.
Yeah.
I loved it as well. I think they did a fantastic job in sort of delivering because there's a lot of buzz about this show. So NBC did a great job of like you said, trying to get these new viewers. When Jules and I were into Comic-Con, Red was everywhere.
Everywhere.
And Spader was
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
He's Ultron, so he was everywhere for the Avengers.
true.
And then he's everywhere for Red, and it was a huge presence at Comic-Con, and then we saw this magazine campaign roll out, which we
crazy
could
marketing.
not get away from that. So, but
Sadly.
it's also like I said, it's a way for people to. And I didn't like it at first, but I realized it is, Nando, a way for people to. Who is this guy, and why is he #1, and what's going on? It's a way to get new viewers in.
Yeah.
And now I think we'll be interested to see what the numbers are tomorrow because I think it's going to do a big number and follow the voice, which is the voice going to do a huge number, and like we all said, it didn't disappoint. I mean, a very crackerjack opening scene, like reminiscent of like a Bond sequence actually, like the cool kind of like opening sequence, and you don't know what's happening, and it was Red as we know him, and he took the kid's hat, and all that was great. A lot, and all the people we talked about, Kristen Ritter, who I love too. But although I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Tell
the
me.
second I saw her on screen,
You knew she was the villain.
you know why?
Tell me why.
Because you can't trust the bee in Apartment 23. Like it's
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway. So yeah, it's a great show. But let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk about let's talk about the opening sequence. We can talk about later. We'll talk about the characters and what they're doing and where they are. But let's first talk about let's get into the episode a little bit linearly, and let's talk about that opening sequence. Which go ahead, Joe.
I think it's one of those scenes you really you have to have somebody cool enough to genuinely suspend your disbelief. Because he's sitting in the, first he comes to in the Jeep and he's in control of the situation. How, we don't know. And the guys behind him shooting with high caliber, blah, blah, blah. Nah, we're going to trust these 12-year-olds to have look, there it is. There's my rocket launcher.
Right.
Excellent. And, like all the steps of that, and to keep your cool, and then you land on the beach and exactly where you wanted to be. You have to willfully suspend your disbelief that all this is not
It's all
silly,
according to plan.
Right. This is
I was
not
gonna say,
goofy and ridiculous.
That's a hell of a plan.
Right?
That's a big risk.
That's
'cause
pretty serious.
What if the guys behind them, what they got one off and got red?
That's it. Got lucky.
Got
all you need to do
lucky.
is get lucky.
But
Yeah, but it's Red.
That's
But it's
how
red.
Red
But it's
rolls.
red.
But that's
Yeah.
what I love about you have to be cool enough to pull that off, and he was cool enough to pull it off.
I think the bigger issue with that scene, and it was a small problem, but it got rectified pretty quickly, was to see, we still think of Red as a bit of a, he's between the lines. He's not a bad guy, but he's not a good guy. He's willing to do whatever he has to do for the greater good, whatever he deems the greater good is. And here he is working with someone, and he even mentioned it, who has boy soldiers. You know the situation out in those countries. They kidnap these boys and they turn them into soldiers. And here he is doing business with them, giving them $3 million. And that felt a little weird to me, but it was really nice to see the swerve and to see him change it around. And, and ultimately he walked away. He burned the money, but he took the hat from the kid and just left the kid. So that was
Not for anything, if that was that kid's hat, it's kind of a dick move. I mean, not like there's a
he
fedora
called
shop.
dibs on it.
Well,
he called
he was
dibs.
tugging at it. He said
He
he shouldn't
said,
do that.
don't bend the brim.
Oh, so he rescued the hat from the kid.
Well, first things first. It's
think-
Red Reddington, guys.
Yeah.
First things first. Check the hat.
Yes.
Check the hat. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I watched him walk up
It's
and
kind
I'm
of
like,
like you can borrow my hat.
that
but
kid
don't
cannot
bend it.
replace that hat. That's impossible.
I mean, for me, like the scene was not meant to be obviously very realistic or
Oh,
something.
yeah, clearly
it
it's
was.
fun.
It was clearly meant to reintroduce us who love him
Yeah.
to Red Reddington, and also
And what he does, he can
introduce
work.
him to those who never watched the
Yeah.
show. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what this guy does, and
Absolutely.
in a lot of ways, the show was almost like a repilot. I mean, it was because it served both.
That's a good way to
purposes.
look at it, yeah.
The show itself gave us all the characters, reintroduced us to all the characters in a very sort of like with a lot of exposition. Even the new sister. I'm the deputy attorney general. Like, of course you are.
Oh boy.
But like, and I was like, we already got the angry brother. Now we got the angry sister.
There's so much-
I'm the deputy attorney general.
There's so much outrage and exposition.
You had a little Chris Rock thing when you did that.
I know, that's
actually.
what it felt like.
That was a little Chris Rock thing.
No, but everyone explained who they were. I'm your psychiatrist. I'm here to help you. Anyway, so we got a lot of reintroductions.
I wonder how much that
introductions.
spills over into real life. Do you find yourself doing that in real
Yes,
life? Like,
yes.
I've heard this on television enough for exposition's sake, so I'm going to remind you of who I am.
Yes, I know what you.
I'm your gas station attendant. I pump your gas.
As long as you say it with authority.
Yes.
They
The
will
double
listen.
point.
Right. So,
Double
but,
point.
but I think it served well because I think we got a really good look at all of our characters and who they are. Even my boy Aram. We got Aram the digital guy. He got Aram. Sorry, Aram. Aram. Excuse me. Aram. We got a very good look at his whole geeky nerdiness.
He's still one of my favorite characters. He
he's
was
great.
probably my favorite character last season, next to Red, of course, because I love me some Red. I like him.
And Dembe.
He was super enthusiastic
There's
about Lord Baltimore. Like super enthusiastic. I think it was the line like he probes the dark corners of the internet.
Oh yeah,
What was that?
roams
That
the deep
urban-
web.
Oh yeah, he roams the deep web.
Oh yes.
There were a couple moments. There were a couple reminiscent of season one.
He's an
moments.
urban legend. He roams the deep
He
web.
robes I didn't know. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I didn't know there was a web, a shallow web. Is there a medium web?
it's a
Is there a deep web?
Yeah, well, you'll never know what the deep web is.
I'm not qualified to know
You
what
would
the
not
deep
get
web
to the
is.
deep
But
web.
people
No.
just don't want to be found.
No.
Yeah, you skim the surface of the
That's
shallow
it.
web.
I just Google it along. That's all I do.
Yeah, and he roams it.
He roams
the
it.
deep web.
He's like a he's like a big
Baltimore.
whale. He's a
I barely stick my little piggies in.
So the opening sequence was great. I think it's a really good, sort of cool way to get us back in the show and very stylized. And then we get a reintroduction to a lot of our plot points. And I don't know, let's talk about what we see. We see that there is a new woman in charge. We saw the deputy attorney general. So she's sort of the new sort of higher foil who replaced our girl who read Shot.
Shot, yes.
Right.
Don't remember her name.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
oh, she's gone.
She's dead. We don't have to remember her name.
She did.
And then we have our guy who we don't like, Martin.
Martin, who
Martin?
is
Yeah.
the
The
interim
interim.
director
The interim
of the task
director.
force.
Who
Not
is,
to worry, he won't be around long anyway.
He was, crap weasel number one.
He was Lord High King Shit Crap Weasel.
Lord
That was
High
his name.
Shit King Crap Weasel. What's the acronym for that? I don't know.
LHKSCR.
There it is. That's him.
La Kisser.
Yeah, LaKisser. He's LaKisser.
Lord High King Shit Crap Weasel.
So he's there from doing his thing, and but this all leads up to sort of what happened to Harold, and is Harold, how is he doing? We know he's alive, and so he has to come back, so he gets a visit from Red Reddington. Nando, what happens there?
He has a visit from Red Reddington.
Thank you, Julia. He gets a visit from Red
He gets
Reddington.
a visit from Red Reddington. Red gives him the whatchamacallit? Drop a pin. What's that called? A little flash drive.
Flash
there
drive.
we go. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Gives him the flash drive that says this is his only copy of their excursion in Kuwait.
Which he referenced
Which-
in episode
season
4 or
1,
5.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. And he's something that he's been holding over
Yeah.
Cooper's head for a while
And you
now.
get the impression it was not like a spring break
No,
whoops thing.
I don't
Probably
think
something a little
so.
more specific.
Something went
little,
down.
Little something
And it
more
was-
violent.
They also referenced his wife, Charlene,
Yeah.
which gives me a sense of dread
Mm.
for Charlene,
I got a prediction.
Charlene.
Yeah,
I-
Charlene's not going to make it.
I don't think so.
I do think I don't agree. I think he just was doing that. It was just a very disarming way of saying I know so much about you. I don't think he's
I
going to
don't
do
know.
anything.
They showed her pictures. I mean, they're going to introduce her and then they're going to kill her.
I don't.
Charlene is not
Who's
going
gonna
to make
kill
it,
her?
Nando.
Somebody.
Oh, but not Red.
No.
no.
Some blacklist her.
Oh, okay.
Like we
All
got
right.
we talked about this last season. We got to give Harold more to do. Harold
Definitely.
cannot just sit
Yes.
around and just say,
It was kind of
"Bring me the
refreshing.
files." Where's Reddington?
Right.
It was
Damn it,
refreshing
Nairobi.
to see
Damn it, Nairobi.
every time he's on screen, guys.
Tell
Bill
Neo.
says that every
I
time
can't
Harold
stop.
Cooper comes on screen.
No,
Damn it, Nairobi.
we got to give Harold Cooper more to do. We talked about a fine actor he is. So my prediction is, and we're jumping ahead of predictions, that this introduction of, they've already given him a lot. They've given him he's already hurt. That gives him some.
He's got a
And
diagnosis.
they gave him a
business.
beard.
He's got a
They gave him a
diagnosis.
cool beard.
They gave
And
him a beard.
he's got a thing.
Got a
He's
little
got a
scars.
scar.
He's got some character
It's a
stuff.
sexy scar.
He's got some affectations
He's
going
gained
on
a little
with it,
weight.
you know?
He's gained a little weight.
He
Coming
also-
out
We
good.
also have an introduction to his home life.
His home life,
So now
yeah.
we're going to
He has a
sort of
lovely
No.
home,
flush it out.
presumably in Virginia. It looks
Yes.
very.
Looks
very
lovely.
We
Nice.
also we have this mysterious diagnosis. I know about the diagnosis.
They found
Dun
something
dun
and you're
dun
in
dun
the
dun
hospital.
dun.
So that's a lot we have to work. So I'm very excited where they're going to go with Cooper, but I do
Yeah.
know for a fact that I'm calling it Stone Cold, calling it now. I'm not going to put the yellow blouse on it, but I'm calling it.
Oh,
I was writing it
Charlene,
down,
is that her
come
name?
on, Charlene.
Charlene is not going to make it, y'all.
but you're not willing to put on the blouse over.
No,
Oh,
no,
come on.
it's early days,
Commit,
Flippo.
Brad.
I
Slow
understand.
down. Slow down with the blouse.
Just say start working out because you want to be in good shape when the blouse come
Yeah,
out.
the blouse is not. You will be right back in that yellow blouse where you belong. That's going to happen for sure. So that was cool to see Harold Cooper. We kind of knew he was coming back, and I'm just jumping to the end where he makes his triumphant return.
his standing
A
ovation.
standing ovation of
God.
return. Although he did have his sort of very sameish line, like, "Where are we with Berlin?"
I know.
I'm like, uh-oh.
I
But
know.
Yeah.
But he kept the beard.
yes,
So this is ushering a new
I
era
have
of
very,
Harold Cooper.
very high hopes for the Harold Cooper character.
No?
I'm just wondering because I'm keeping my beard. I'm just wondering what it means for me.
We're ushering in a new
A
era.
new era. Okay, there we go. Just
So,
wondering.
and then we have some stuff happening with our boy Wrestler. Why don't you talk about Wrestler, Jules?
I mean,
He's back.
okay, so Wrestler's back. He's ditching his mandatory therapy for everything that went down at the during last season. He's off the rails. He's popping some pills. He's making
We don't know.
grandiose statements.
In all fairness, we don't know
Hold
that
on.
he's popping pills
Well,
to the end.
It was pretty.
No, till the end.
Oh,
It
till
wasn't
the end.
like,
Till the
yeah,
end.
popping
Well-
pills.
I was
all
like,
the
what does
time.
he do? Is he just staring at prescription bottles? Yeah, you know.
I mean, it was-
No, I'm just saying till
I
the
got
end.
you, I got
The
you.
episode wasn't full of Wrestler popping pills, is what I'm saying.
I,
It was a reveal, is what I'm saying. As a plot device, it was a
answer me
reveal.
this. I don't remember which Lethal Weapon movie is he in right now.
No, it's so it's 3, right? It's 3.
Just over and over again.
a lot of,
The
like-
shrink pops her head up.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
the damn shrink.
you can't keep avoiding me.
You can't-
No.
I'm going around the corner.
Yeah.
Gotta face your demons, Wrestler.
But at least he had a very sort of realistic confrontation with her at the end, where he
Yes.
let her know.
The monologue was incredibly realistic.
Sweet Jesus.
What? You like the monologue, Jules?
Oh God, that monologue.
That was the only part of the show
was-
that made us all.
That was a part of the
Yeah,
show.
that was cringeworthy.
In all fair, we love the episode from
Yes.
beginning to end. We're like, this is great. Wow, this is great. And then the shrink comes out and Russell launches into that monologue, and we go,
That Boy Scout speech.
no.
It was a very
Uh-oh.
Boy Scout
Here we
speech.
go.
Yeah.
we didn't. So, but aside from that monologue,
Aside from that, I have an affinity for Wrestler.
I know.
I mean, so I'm happy that.
Diego.
Oh, Diego.
Yeah.
That boy, my little ginger.
Yeah, it's good to see him back, and it's
We gotta stick
Good little
together.
ginger pumpernickel.
right. So we saw him and Lizzie. Lizzie's back, and she's we talked about her chopping the hair, but she was underground. She's hiding out. She's doing some things. I mean, Joe, what's going on with Lizzie?
I'm not sure. No, I think with Lizzie, I think they're obviously trying to kind of give us some more to care about with her. I think they had some criticism last season about her being too one-dimensional, and frankly, I think a lot of people didn't feel that there was any empathy that they felt toward her.
Yeah.
I think some of us here at this table might have mentioned that there was a lack of empathy that we had. So I think they're trying to. They've got a few tracks it looks like they're taking to kind of bring us more involved in the character. Some of it's purely sexy.
I'll tell you the track they took.
Yeah.
How about
just a bikini shot to start? Like
Exactly.
Just, yeah,
Yeah,
we're sitting
underwear
on the-
shot.
Like
underwear
you
shot.
don't like Lizzie? How about this?
How about this? She's got all this stuff.
I'm listening.
She comes fully equipped with female parts.
I'm listening, America.
Yeah, I think even when she was in the shower in season 1, they didn't show that much skin.
No.
Yeah.
That was
When she was in it with Tom.
and look, she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
if you gotta flaunt it.
Okay.
That's what I say.
But so I think that some obviously
She's on my blacklist.
Oh boy.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I don't want to ask. Let's keep
Zero
going.
response.
Let's
from
keep
the rest
No
of the
idea what that
table.
means.
I
We
feel
got
like
nothing.
Anyway, go ahead.
I feel like
Sorry.
leaving you alone in the deep web
I
over
got
there,
it.
but I don't. I think we
Deep,
should
deep web.
deep web.
Yeah.
I'll start roaming. Go ahead. So,
But I think that one of the things they're doing with her that obviously they're kind of sexing her up a little bit, but still trying to keep it classy. And I think they're walking the line with it. I think they're doing a good job.
Yep.
And then the opening scene with Red, where she's outside in the hoodie. Cool, younger.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for like a younger kind of a hip thing going on. I mean, I see what they're doing. I like it. Softening her edges a little
I
bit.
got to tell you, she seemed a lot more credible this year in terms of as incompetent as an FBI agent. I believed her. I didn't really believe her as much last year because she's fresh out of the academy.
Sure is.
And she's cracking cases and deep in a high level government task force on day 2 or 3. But she feels like because we know what she's been through in season 1,
Yeah.
and because we feel like she's very competent. Like I felt that even in that little skirmish that we had with the kidnapping of Mary Louise Parker. That was fantastic.
Naomi.
Naomi.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
Naomi
the actor's
Highland.
name. Yes, Naomi
Yes.
Highland.
Yes.
Yes.
So Lizzie's back and wrestler and
They're also making her sort of seem, real fast, like she doesn't really give 2 shits anymore. Like
Right.
she's not getting all dressed
Yeah.
up. She has no makeup
Yeah.
on. Like, cut my hair. What the hell?
Sure.
Let's do it. Like, so she's sort of. She's gone a little wild, I guess.
Well,
when
that's
she
great.
was so
She's
buttoned
not-
up before. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
So
She's not whiny
no.
like she
Not
was
yet.
last
Oh,
season.
God.
Not yet. I like that. Not yet.
So-
Yeah.
What we like about this is they've done a great job of sort of paring down the sort of unwieldy cast. They sort of pared it down, and we've got basically our 4. We've got Harold, wrestler, Lizzie, and
Red.
and that's it. The Fab Four in terms of the centralized cast. Because before we had
Yes.
such a large group of people we had to follow, and Dembe, of course. I don't want to leave Dembe out.
Yeah, of course not.
Little Dembe.
Aw,
But so
cuddly
we're
little
back.
teddy bear.
But let's talk about some of these new. But we do have some new characters we're introducing. Nando, we talked about Mary Louise Parker, and we talked about her introduction, and I think she's credible and great casting. So
Yeah.
what do you think we can expect from her? How long will she stay around? Do you know?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we know looks like she'll probably be around at least 1 or 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
We figure because after all, she's right now being used as bait or at least to
Yeah.
antagonize Red. What was interesting about her too is they set it up right away where Lizzie got to go talk to her. And this is Red's wife. So, and she talks about a daughter in the conversation. So
Yes.
that obviously puts a little more of mystery behind what the whole Lizzie Red relationship. If we do believe that it's a parental one,
Maybe.
So because who on earth would be in the same room with their mother and their mother especially when she has not even seen Red herself.
Right.
She doesn't seem to be on the same page as Red, so you would think that she would recognize her own daughter and maybe say something.
Right.
So that adds some mystery to that relationship as well. So I think it's a real, and she's just a phenomenal actress anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's great to see her, but I think that's going to be the really interesting thing, and of course, seeing what Berlin, this whole backstory with Berlin,
Sure.
and she doesn't recognize Berlin, but Berlin obviously knows who she is.
Well, because Berlin's very interested in Red's entire life
Yeah.
for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to the Mary Louise Parker, James Spader sort of acting together.
Oh,
and
I can't
face-offs.
wait
Yeah.
for that.
I feel like
That's
those
good stuff.
That's going to be
some good
That's
really,
going to
there.
be spectacular.
really, really good.
Well, let's jump back to the episode. So we obviously we started in Cameroon, and where Red was he's been in deep cover, getting the identity of the person who he believed is out to get him.
That
Right.
Berlin has hired
The
to
British
track
Alliance
him.
to track him, and we found it's Lord Baltimore, and so he's the name Lord Baltimore, and he goes back, and then we find out that the Lord Baltimore is possibly using this poor unassuming woman named Rowan Mills to bounce some information off of
Bounce $250,000
$250,000 through,
Mm-hmm.
so it leads the FBI to her, and this lovely woman, of course, is Kristen Ritter we talked about, who seems very innocent and very unknowing, and not knowing what's happening, and her sweet giant eyes, and very lovely. But it turns out, I mean, I'm skipping ahead here. It turns out that this is what I'm kind of confused about, because all that stuff going through her account that the Rowan was unaware of,
Uh-huh.
but then we know that now later the reveal was that she's a
Well, it's pretty obvious that once we know the reveal, so we'll drop that.
right.
Marcus.
Okay.
Marcus was the guy's name, right?
Yes. Thank you.
So Marcus was in charge of obviously just
Handling her.
Yeah, his job was to basically play the record.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I play the record, and then she tells me to do more things.
And by the way, I just gotta say,
Why vinyl?
Well, yeah, because that's a great effect because it's a nice old record.
Right.
You know,
It's extra creepy.
We drop it on the
Marcus was
vinyl.
creepy.
He comes in like, oh, I'm up, and she has the record player. But then Lizzie's like iPhone.
Lizzie drops it on the phone. She's like, bang.
She's like, beep.
I'm like, listen. And I had a moment. I was like, is it going to work without vinyl?
Yeah, because
I was
you gotta have that deep, rich.
Of course, it's going to
vinyl.
work without vinyl.
It's the new iPhone 6. That's what she
yeah.
iPhone 6
iPhone
sounds
6.
like vinyl.
Yes, there you go.
That's how good it is.
Anyway, so that's good. So what I'm curious is the activity that was in her account that led the FBI to her. Was this? Are we saying that this was Nora doing that activity?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. And then,
Here's what happened. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
then why did
Well,
they?
maybe
Why
it's
did,
not
why
that
did she get the
I
message?
think it's obvious that Nora put the money in the account, and then when Rowan woke up or turned to Rowan and she noticed all of this account, she changed the passwords
Right,
and she
got
changed
it.
everything. So it's just, again, they're not working together. Lizzie said that with, how do you say that?
Disassociative identity disorder.
They don't, neither one knows about the
The
other.
two can't conspire.
Yes.
So who made the call to
Marcus?
Rowan?
No, Rowan.
Saying like, don't talk to the FBI anymore. That whole that digital call.
Well, she could have typed it out and had it sent later.
But how does she know?
Maybe Marcus did it.
Because they're not working together. Maybe Marcus did
They
it.
don't
How?
work together.
We don't know how many times Marcus played the record. We only saw the one time.
That's also
Marcus
true.
can play the record as many times as he needs to.
I'm not trying to
That's also
break down.
true.
I
No,
just
no,
want
no.
the answers to the
It's valid.
questions.
well, that's
Help us
how
out
we do
on
it. Is we
YouTube,
break it
please.
down.
Well, it's
I
also
just want to know who sent her the message. Did Nora send Rowan the message, or was this?
Yes.
I think
Maybe Berlin?
Yes, I think. Oh,
Or maybe
What would
another.
Berlin have anything to do with
no,
that
Berlin
for?
had really nothing to.
All right.
Okay,
I'm just throwing.
Someone on
it in
YouTube
there.
or iTunes help us out
Yeah,
with that one
help,
because I don't.
because
I
our heads are
understand.
about to
Yeah,
explode.
apparently.
trying to figure
Help us with these really, really basic questions.
No, I just want to know who sent Rowan the message. Was it Nora? Did Nora?
I'm thinking it was Nora.
It had to be Nora.
Who probably, programmed
Marcus
a phone
probably-
to
Marcus
call her
saw it.
or told Marcus to send this message.
Yeah. Marcus saw it.
Why-
Marcus
Here's
told
another
Nora.
question I have.
Nora
Here's
left
another
the
question I
message.
have.
Why
So
would Berlin get involved at that level?
I understand. Okay,
Yeah.
no, I don't think it was Berlin, but I'm still because they can't. The two don't know each other, right?
Who?
The Rowan and Nora.
They don't know each other.
No.
They don't work together.
Well,
don't-
Nora
they
knows
can't
Rowan,
conspire.
but Rowan doesn't know Nora.
This is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of because so when she becomes Nora, she knows everything. She
knows everything.
Nora
Yeah.
knows
So
everything.
how does she go back into being Rowan? What's her untrigger?
Well,
Like how does she? How
Yeah,
does she?
that- I
Because
was
she's
wondering- I don't
when
think
she's
that was
being a
explained.
badass and she's bumping around being Nora, and then all of a sudden she's like, "What happened?"
well, she wants to be Rowan.
it's
That's
Rowan.
her. She always
Do you-
wants to be Rowan.
Do you think
That's,
she can drop out of Nora at will?
Or maybe it's a
I
Marcus
bet
thing.
it's probably Bieber. She listens to Bieber.
I-
It's got to be.
Another question, please explain. I'm just curious
No,
how this
no,
whole
these
thing
are-
worked.
It's all about the bass. That's what she likes to play. It's
all about the bass. There we
It's
go.
all about that.
I loved it. I love the device. I love the whole thing. I'm not really trying to poke holes in it. I just want to know like what happened. I'm not trying to say I just want to know what happened because I like the whole device. I like the whole idea
Yeah.
of the evil twin. Like, and I love the introduction of the evil twin. I'm like, oh, the evil twin. Wait,
No,
she's
wait.
the evil twin.
Now
yes.
wait. I think they delivered on the evil twin, but we all had a collective groan when we discovered that there was an evil twin.
Right.
Yeah.
We all went,
when they
"Oh,
first
no.
said it.
she can't be alive.
yes.
Who? My twin.
We're
That
like,
was the besides the wrestler monologue.
like, not
Besides the
twin.
wrestler monologue, that was probably the one moment. It was very.
Does she have a
Dun,
goat-
dun, dun.
Yeah, does she have a
Yeah.
goatee?
That was awesome.
And a twisty mustache,
Right?
evil twin. One's blonde, one's dark.
Right?
hair.
How do you know which one
Like
you
a
got?
witch.
A lot of eyeshadow and mascara. So, yeah. So that was that was interesting. And I do like the whole thing with the mothers, like how was Rowan? Oh, she was so sweet and wonderful. How was Nora? I was like, well,
Complicated.
but she was evil. Yeah, complicated.
Complicated.
And how much did the mother know? Because she was so terrified of Wrestler going into that van.
She knew what was
She
what.
lost her shit.
Well, the
She
mother
knew that
knew.
there
Did
was
the
a
mother
dead body
know-
in that freezer.
Well, the mother has to know that there was because mother had to interact with Nora and Rowan.
Did she?
I don't know.
Well, she said she could tell the difference between the two.
Again, help us out, please, on YouTube and iTunes.
But
Keeps
again, the
looking over
whole
there.
point that there
I
was
know.
the two identities was that Nora wanted to be Rowan. So that's what she wanted to be.
Whatever it was.
I can't help but feel we're spending an awful lot of time on
Yes.
this, and we should be
Sorry.
talking more about Mary Louise Parker and what this
Fair
whole
enough.
scene is going to be with Berlin, because that's actually going to be going forward.
Hold on. Before that.
Well, I
though,
hope they bring Kristen Ritter back. I mean,
I
she's not
do too,
dead
but-
or anything.
yeah,
Well,
she's-
and that was the only thing I was going to mention. I think it's kind of a tough thing that they did. It was kind of a roll of the dice because they introduced Mary Louise Parker and Kristen Ritter in the same episode. And for me, Kristen Ritter kind of overshadowed Mary Louise Parker quite a bit.
Well, because of that
because
acting
I mean,
trend.
keep in mind too. I mean, the whole. I think one of the things they're committed to doing, I think, is Kristen Ritter was the Blacklister, right?
Yes.
So
Right.
so
Yes.
she was Lord
Yes.
Number
Baltimore.
104.
So I think
Yes.
that it's probably in their best interest. Whoever that Blacklister is will probably be someone of note and high profile, and someone who has some chops as an actor. So I don't mind seeing a Kristen Ritter come in and be the Blacklister. I don't see her every episode. She shouldn't be a regular. I saw her. She's Lord Baltimore. Cool.
I mean, we had some great ones last season
Yes,
too,
we did.
like Diane Weiss. Like that's
Sure.
a huge heavy
That's
hitter,
Diane
and that was
Weiss,
a
yeah.
one-stop
Yeah.
shop for her.
Yeah. So that's.
Well, I think they're stepping it up again. They want to keep the ratings going up on this show. NBC's invested a lot, so
Yeah.
put some really
For sure.
good big guest stars on
Absolutely.
there.
I'm only saying from a strategical point of view. As
Strategical?
far as
It will be
strategery,
great. Yeah.
Strategery?
when you're examining a situation, you got to decide on your strategery.
Yes.
I don't know if I had to space those out. I would imagine there was probably a discussion because I think Kristen Ritter is. I think she.
Well, we
overshadowed-
know
she
you
has
love
to get out
Kristen
of
Ritter.
prison.
Enough already.
She has
I'm
to
just
get
saying, I
Enough.
think Kristen Ritter is really, really.
She had her own
pretty.
show.
boy.
What was it called, Nando? Don't trust
It's that B thing.
There was a chick
Don't
in,
trust-
in an apartment.
a C and a B.
I really liked that show, by the way. Don't trust the bee. That
yeah.
was a
I
fun
actually
show.
did Dream of Walkers on that show too. She was really good too.
Yeah.
See, I watched that show. I just
So-
couldn't remember. I'm from New York. I'm just gonna say the damn B word. Okay.
You did?
Okay.
And
Congratulations.
I certainly did. I changed the word.
So
changed the
so
time.
that was it. So we got that whole thing where we saw the reveal where she turns into the thing and she goes she kidnaps who they want to have kidnapped, which is
Mary Louise
Mary
Parker.
Louise Parker, who's
Okay,
Naomi.
Naomi Highland.
Naomi Highlands, we find out was Red's wife. Now we know that Red's family, or we think that Red's family was burned down and murdered.
Well, there was a house that burned. What we know is there was a house that burned. She has memories of being in a fire. There was a stuffed
Well,
animal.
let's talk about Red for a second. What happened? What do we know about Red's family? The assumption is Red's family, wife and kids, were burned down in this house. No,
Yeah.
or was it? Or is that not the assumption? Well,
no,
what are we working off here?
Well, remember, I don't know if. Okay, hold on.
Well, no, I think that's a
Working
fair.
back-
That's the assumption we've been kind of led to. But they never specifically say that they were dead.
Yes, but so obviously if some of you think that Lizzie is Red's daughter, so obviously Lizzie survived, and now we know that Red's wife. If this is the same person,
If it's the same wife,
if
if
it's
he-
the same wife,
yeah.
because I get the impression that a family of some sort was that house. No one made it out of that house. I never got the impression that. So that's what's a little bit of a
We
surprise
don't
that
know
Red's
what
wife is
house
bumping
that
about
was because if you remember in season 1, he blew up the house that he lived
Yes.
in with his wife and child.
Yeah.
Yes, because of what happened there.
Well, the house obviously didn't burn down.
That's true. It didn't burn down. Or maybe someone. Oh, wait, no, that's right. No, it didn't burn down. It was. Oh, you're
He
right.
Yeah.
he blew it up himself.
Yes.
He bought the property and blew it up.
Very true.
So
But something bad happened.
we know Lizzie was in the fire. We know now that Red has burn marks
Yes.
all over his back.
Right.
But we don't know how the two connect.
Right. Okay.
We don't know that fire has anything to do with Red's wife and child.
Right. So we have the wife, and we potentially, for those of you who really believe this, we potentially have the mother, the father, and the daughter all hanging out together. Potentially, if you really think that this is the
That's
thing.
your thing, Flippo.
That's your thing, Flip. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm saying
Yellow
it's
blouse?
easy. I'm saying it's a possibility.
In the pilot, we've introduced the mothers. Is this where this is going? One big happily
All
spy
I'm
family.
saying is it's a possibility. And I think, as I have said before, the whole show kind of doesn't make any sense unless he's her dad. It just gets weird.
It does. I agree.
I don't.
I'm just
I
super
agree.
obsessed with her.
And I think the writers at this point know how we're feeling, and they're gonna just keep confusing the hell out of us more and
yeah,
more.
that's what I would do.
Yeah. just to try and figure it out.
Here's a question I have. Let me back up. So
Let me help you with answers.
We have that one. We have also that really wonderful scene where Red is tracked down and then sort of kidnapped and snatched by Mossad.
Yes.
And which is in a very cool sequence. And there's that reveal, and they did that very cool thing about how the Zenga ties, and they did the thing. And
That
they
was
tracked
cool.
them down. Yeah,
Let's just go ahead and say it. Mossad is not in the effing around business. That was impressive.
Around. They're not. I saw Munich.
And
They're
it
not effing
definitely
around.
doesn't feel like that was a throwaway scene either. I feel like that character
This is
that
my
we
point.
met, Samar Navabi, is going to come back again.
Well, I think that this is my question. I feel like this was introducing a potential storyline, or like the character will definitely be back, but like, why in the middle of our pilot episode do they introduce this mysterious Mossad agent who kidnaps Red only to let him go an hour later? I mean, only not let him go, only to have him released an hour later. Like, what for us, the viewers, what did we get from that? So something about her, I feel like that's going to come back. I'm right.
Well, I feel that
she's going to be back.
I
and
think
that's
what
important.
happened at the very ending of that when he was being let go, and he gave her information on the man who was probably responsible for her husband getting killed. I think that was like a moment of them perhaps possibly working together in the future, because she realizes Red wasn't behind the murder, or at least he has information. So and
Murder of
please,
her brother?
yeah,
Yes.
it was her brother, not her husband. Right? It was her brother.
Right, yes.
Yes, it was her brother. Pardon me. So, so I could see them definitely working together down. I mean, look, we see it. We've seen it this episode. Red is purely international. He doesn't have to be locked into New York and D.C. like most of Blacklist was in season 1. This can be taken to other places. We saw him in Cameroon. So it only makes sense that he's probably going to be working with other governments somewhere down the line. So I think this sets up the groundwork, at least, to work more with Mossad.
But the impression I got, and again, I could be totally wrong here because we just watched this, and also, folks, we just watched the episode, so we didn't have time to. Usually, we have time to sort of watch it. We have a day to digest it. We just watched it, so when this happens, we're gonna miss some stuff.
Yes.
So be kind to us on YouTube. Like, you guys didn't even know that the thing happened, and the thing that's not our brother.
We
but-
haven't had as much time to look up some of the stuff
Yeah.
when we
so-
realized, like, oh wow, they were talking about this and
Yes,
trying to
we
cut
ran.
back
We
to
just saw the episode. we
Straight
ran
from
in here and we
screening
watched
room
it.
into the studio.
That being said, I'm going to butcher the crap out of this. I was in the impression during that exchange that what she was saying is when he's like, these are the people responsible, and she's like, I know.
Yeah, she knew already.
She already
knew.
knew.
She
and
took care of
she
it.
already took care of it, Dan. I feel like that she's already taken those guys out.
But you still thought Red was responsible in some way, though.
No, I don't think.
No, I think that was
Or at
I
least-
feel like an acknowledgement. Like these guys, basically, the translation was, "Hey, I know who killed your brother. Yeah, I know too. They met an unfortunate end." And Red's like, "Okay, cool." Like that's what that exchange was.
Okay.
I thought.
Well, regardless, it seemed like they left amicably, even though she lost a little face by having Red, the man that she took captive,
Now,
killed, let go.
I must have missed this. Who exactly hired her to kidnap Red in such a dramatic way?
No one.
No one hired her. She tracked it down. It was a Mossad operation.
It was a Mossad operation, yeah.
Yeah, it was a secret. It was a
Got
secret
it.
spy operation to track Red Reddington down. Very, very successfully.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Okay.
Mossad isn't F around.
They're not in the effing around business.
They're not in F around business.
I also don't like them operating on our soil. I don't like that at all. Even if I've seen it, it's so funny. Like I have all these intellectual academically I'm okay with everyone having their own agencies, and of course everyone should operate wherever they need to operate. I recognize intellectually, but when I see anyone operating in the U.S. that's an ally in a TV show, I get really angry. It's very bizarre. I don't know how to describe. I'm like, no.
It's really real to you. On
It
the,
really-
on the blacklist.
On the Blacklist on NBC.
You're like,
No.
no.
That is unacceptable.
All right. Well,
You do that stuff on Fox.
I thought that was a very cool little sequence. I also thought that there's a little bit of a mild flirtation there that may
Possible love
foreshadowing
interest, too.
to something. Yeah,
I think there's a
that bit
possibility.
about being cool, like
Yeah.
so that we'll see where that goes. But that was interesting. So, but more importantly, so we know that this Berlin, the evil Berlin, with his hook,
Not his
hook
twin,
hand.
not his good twin.
No, evil Berlin
Okay.
has Red's former wife, and this is sort of a good way to give us a motivating through line throughout the season, because we now know. I mean, before Red's like, he turns himself in. He's got this blacklist. He's got this thing. This is woman Lizzie Keene. Then all that introduction. Now we know who he is. We know what he does, but we're more invested because Red has a personal stake now that he has to go and find. Berlin and handle those other things, and it was presumably while there's still blacklisters around. So this is kind of a cool through line.
Can we? I don't want to forget this scene because I thought it was a really badass scene too. That
Yes.
scene with Berlin in the ice bath, in
Yes.
that bathtub,
Oh, yeah.
full of ice. all around him, and then Marcus, like him mumbling, and Marcus going
Yes.
up close to him, and him with one arm, with one hand.
Yeah.
Dragging him in there and saying,
More expenses.
yeah, no more expenses, no additional expenses, or
Oh,
you
we'll
take
take
another
another bath.
Yeah.
Right.
Have any of you guys ever tried to take an ice bath?
Yes.
Those things, yeah.
I lasted about that fast.
That's why I was like, I thought that was super impressed. I'm sure it was just Hollywood ice, probably
It
just
was
a
not.
little,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but still, just seeing that scene sent, like, you know, no pun intended, shivers, you know, just thinking about the time.
I agree with you. I think that's a great addition to the character. Like, this man is bad enough to just kick it in an ice bath.
And just
He's kicking
sit
it.
still and, just.
And waiting for the news. He's just sitting there waiting for the news. And,
Yeah.
and his cool henchwoman, his half-naked Asian henchwoman, who
yeah.
watches the door and directs him back to the ice bath, where he's like, "Come closer." No, that was hot. That was cool.
Yeah, that was good
That's
stuff.
on some that was on some Bond villain-ish right there.
Yeah, very
that
Bond
was very
villain-ish.
cool. Berlin is very much established as a badass. So this competition, this confrontation coming between Berlin and Red, we're also that would debut next week, is also something we're looking forward to, right?
What is?
The confrontation between Berlin and Red.
I don't know if that's next week or if that was like this season on the Blacklist.
Well, let's not talk about that till later, just for the people who don't watch those clips.
Well, I didn't say it. Brad said it.
Yeah, both of them.
The clips. I'll say it.
People do. You'd be
Okay.
surprised. You'd be
Alright.
surprised.
Fair,
But
fair
yes,
enough.
I'm looking forward to that.
And so Berlin, you know, I was going on and yammering on and on last season about this super blacklister, and I was like, it's a super blacklister, Berlin, but Berlin's not the super blacklister, right? Because
He's like number 3 or
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
something like
He
that.
was
I was
something-
trying to remember.
Yeah,
But he has a vendetta
Right,
against
so-
Red. And that's
so we
his
still
big.
have-
That's his big play.
we still have a lot of room.
Yeah, we still
There's
got Alan
ceiling.
Alda and his whole
Yeah.
crew. We still
Yeah.
we still
Right.
don't know what's going on that side. We still don't know who's above Alda. We still don't know who all that. We don't know any of that stuff.
Yes.
Oh no, we're only episode 1.
But how many episodes this season? 47? 64.
I think so. 64.
22.
It should be the typical 24.
22.
22, I believe.
22 episodes.
So, but
I'll say it again.
709.
22.
but here's the thing too, and again, we just watched the episode and we are trying to figure out the backstory. I didn't have a chance to prep, but I was going to watch the season finale again just to remember the story
Yeah.
about Berlin. But you know, his daughter was like with a dissident or something. You know, I just looked it up too.
It was a very Kaiser
Yeah,
Soze-esque
Yeah.
story, you know.
So he got sent to prison, and his
gulag.
enemies, yeah, he got sent to the Russian gulag, and his
That's
and his
right.
enemies sent pieces of his daughter piece by piece.
Piece by piece.
So it sounded to me from the story last season, it was more like, you know, amongst his people, amongst the Russians, but the way he left it in that phone conversation with Red, he blames Red for
Well,
his
they
daughter
said
getting
that.
sent.
It was like, I think it was clear that this was compliments of Reddington, what happened to him,
Yeah.
piece by piece.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why he wants revenge. So I mean, I don't think Red was responsible for that, but he
It seems a little grim for Red. I mean, that
Yeah.
seems a little.
It seems very, very grim for Red.
long-term
Yeah.
macabre. That's
Long-term,
that's not really
yeah.
his deal.
Yeah. So, but we get to see a finger.
But what happened? I mean, it was one of those things where maybe Red set him up. Is that what it was? Maybe, or Red left
We
him
don't
out to
know.
dry.
I
To
don't know,
find
we'll
out
have to-
more, but it did seem
sure
to.
it will.
But it also did seem like when Red was talking to Berlin on the phone, like Red was clueless as well.
He has no idea.
He has no idea
Right.
what this vendetta is about.
Well, so let's. I don't want to get into predictions yet, but let's talk a little bit about sort of where we think. Well, I guess it's not direct predictions, but where we think this is going, like overall, like some thoughts on where this is. Well, let's call it predictions. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Let's
You want
call it
to
predictions.
call a spade a spade? Call
Yeah.
it predictions?
A Spader. And
Oh!
Your
Spader the ish out of that one.
Prediction.
Let's
God,
not.
God, I'm
Since
so
we're in
dread
episode
already.
1 here, since we're episode 1 of season 2, let's not talk about what's going to happen next week. Let's talk about what we think some arcs. Let's talk some arcs here. What do you think some story arcs are going to happen? Where's this going, Joe? Besides you wearing a yellow
Start with
blouse,
me for once.
Easy.
yellow blouse.
God, that was
That's my
unpleasant.
prediction.
Because I'm just so furry. It was unpleasant. I think that that we're gonna revisit the wrestler Megan thing, but wrestler Boone thing, Keene, pardon me, the wrestler Lizzie Keene thing. I think what they're gonna do with that, and I think they're setting it up now. They've given them some time apart. They've given them some time to just be friends, and I think that thing is gonna take probably start around episode 4 and maybe arc through the rest of the season. It's gonna become a little game, and then eventually I think they're gonna hook up toward maybe 3/4 of the way through the season. That's my thought on them. The Mossad thing, I'm not 100% sure if that's gonna come back in a big way.
Right.
I mean, it didn't seem like. I mean, I want there to be something there because it was such a cool scene and it's a cool character. But it didn't seem like there was. It seemed, yeah, it seemed very open-ended at the end.
Yeah.
But I think that what we're going to find with Berlin is that there's going to be. I think that it's going to be he left him out to dry, or he didn't. He was like. He was secondarily responsible for whatever happened to him. But it wasn't him that was chopping up the daughter. That really doesn't seem like it's his speed. But maybe he kind of set up the situation where Berlin found himself in jail because of Reddington, and maybe that's what left his daughter vulnerable to the other guys. So maybe this is years and years later. Maybe Berlin's gone through everybody else, and now he just has to get the last guy, and maybe that's Red. And that's it for predictions.
Well, we actually forgot to talk about our boy Tom Keene in the car watching the whole time.
Yeah.
We know that's Tom Keene.
We're pretty sure.
I'm not telling you. I'm just saying.
He has a prediction swoop right there.
No, I wasn't a prediction swoop. I'm just saying that was Tom Keene. It wasn't even a prediction. That's Tom.
There's no question in your mind.
Jules,
there was no question in my mind. It was his glasses.
So tell me what.
I thought he didn't.
I don't know now.
No, what?
That was so exciting to say that.
I'm asking you the whole season.
The whole season. That's all she had.
That's all you had.
Tom.
Yeah, but
I got Tom.
22 episodes of Tom Keene.
I'm sure Tom will come back at a very opportune moment as soon as Lizzie and Wrestler are getting just a little bit too close.
Yes.
Why don't you give us something original?
He put on an extra layer. Hit him. He deserves it.
I already said Tom. What do you have?
I hate all of you. It's going to be the longest 22 weeks of my life with
64
you boys.
episodes.
This is what they're saying on iTunes and YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
This is gonna be the longest one. No, seriously, like aside from Tom, that's all you got?
Oh, aside from Tom, well, I think we're gonna.
Stuff.
What?
Like you got stuff.
I got stuff. I think we're going to see a lot coming out of Cooper this season, and I think we're going to. I mean, we already talked about his wife, and I think she's going to be introduced in a big way, and she'll probably meet a big demise to match. I don't know anything about the Mossad yet. I really don't know what to say about that.
I don't know either. What's the diagnosis you think for Harold?
Ooh, something terminal.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like it'd have to be
nasty and
terminal.
Yeah.
It would probably have to be terminal.
It's not going to be Clap. He's
I
going to get
mean,
something
he
nasty.
was talking about how he wanted to spend more time in the Dominican with his wife, and
Yeah.
that's sort of
That
when you get
sounds
a
like a
terminal
man.
diagnosis.
That sounds like
right?
a man who doesn't think he's going to be around too much
We're
longer.
going to take the trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
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 Nando, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it seems like they've given Cooper quite a bit of backstory with those one or two scenes that we saw this season. A lot more backstory than we've seen from season one. Mm-hmm. So I definitely see a lot more with him. I definitely agree that the mysterious stalker has got to be Tom. There's no doubt about that. I totally see that. And you know, I mean, Wrestler and Liz got to hook up. But I think what's going to happen is right when they hook up, that's when we're going to see Tom.
That's what she just said.
I think so.
Oh my God!
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you saying that?
Why don't you come up with something original, Jules? All right, Nando.
I like your Nando impression.
You like that? That was good.
That's what
impression's
happens.
good.
Well, I was third up. So come on.
Also,
I'm rehashing
Wrestler,
a lot.
he's popping pills.
Yeah.
He's gonna go off the rails a little bit. Something's gonna happen
stole mine.
there. Oh, did I?
You stole
Sorry,
mine.
Braz.
I predict that Tom Keene will come back at the right moment, right when Lizzie and Wrestler will
I
get
quit.
down.
I quit. Here we go.
Can't get up. I'm
I think,
Stop.
listen, I think that we're going to see, I do predict we'll have a little bit bigger and bigger in terms of who the blacklisters are. I do think they're going to really focus on these guest stars.
Do you think we're going to see number one?
We will not see
This
number
season.
one.
No?
Well, it depends. We may see a tease to number one that like leads us into season 3. You know, as an overall arc. Because I think Berlin was kind of our arc for all of season 1 was about Berlin. So now we have Berlin. So I think that maybe towards the back half of season 3 we'll see
Season 2.
next.
I think we'll
season
get someone
2,
to
we'll see
trump
someone else.
Berlin.
Yeah, we got to see one.
I
of
mean,
the top 4.
there's still some room, some wiggle room
Yeah,
out there.
Berlin was
Top.
number
Absolutely.
4, right? Berlin was
Well,
4. I
it's
believe.
somewhere. It's top one.
3,
It
4, something
it
like
wasn't
that.
one. He wasn't one.
It
or
wasn't
2.
1. I think it was 4.
So we'll figure that.
It was
And
in
then
the top 10 somewhere.
you know, yeah, I like to get. I talked about. So Harold's gonna have more to do. I'm already on record saying Charlene. Is it?
Charlene's
not
yeah.
gonna make it. I'm on
She's
record
gonna
with
bite it.
that. I'm
haven't
on
even seen
record
her
with
yet.
Tom in the car.
We haven't even met her yet, and we're already killing her off.
I think the Messiah agent is going to come back as a love interest for Red.
Yeah.
I do think that obviously Lizzie the wrestler will have something going on. Although I do predict this whole pill popping thing will be an issue. Like just when we figured out a way to not let wrestler be so mad. Remember how mad he was?
Yeah.
So now it seems like he's calmed down, but now he's mad again. Now he's popping pills and he's mad. So I don't know. Hopefully these are calm down pills and not like.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to
prescribe you
pills.
some calm down pills.
I'm
You
gonna
take
say-
2 of these calm down pills before you go to bed at night.
I'm going to say I think we're making too big a deal of the pills.
You think so?
I think so.
It was one shot, and I mean, they
I
could have done
think-
anything with that one shot of wrestler, and that's what they chose to do.
I think
And
we're
again,
making
that
a
look
big
in
deal
the
of the
mirror
pills.
like, who am I?
Yeah.
I think it's just to show that he's trying to cope with his issues, but I think he's
Right.
going to end up probably hanging out with the shrink.
Pill.
Something's going to happen. He's going to hang out with the shrink, and we're not going to see.
I
another
think
pill.
he's got to go. That shrink's got to go.
I mean, he's not going to go to. He's not going to freaking start doing AA or anything like that. Okay, it just showed it for the purpose of saying he can't. He still isn't coping, and that's it.
Nando's
I don't
so-
see a dark dive into depression with alcoholism
You're an
and
enabler.
drugs.
Yeah, Nando's
Maybe I am an
so
enabler.
Wrong.
Maybe I am.
The pills will be a storyline, and we'll see how that
right,
plays
okay.
It might not be like a huge storyline, but
think
it'll
we're,
be there.
I think we're talking too much
It'll
about
escalate.
pills. We should get a
Pills,
sponsor.
pills.
We should get a sponsor.
Pills.
Pills.
This show is
that's
brought
all
to
I
you
got.
by the
Pills. Buy pills.
All right, let's get out of here. Joe Flippo, where can we find you?
You can
sir?
find my website is josephsanflippo.com. You can find me on the Twitters at Joe Flippo. And
Twitters.
apparently on the Instagram also.
Apparently?
Apparently, he's all
Joe has
on
joined
it.
Instagram, ladies and gentlemen.
Not
Joe
very well.
Flippo is there, so find him at Joe Flippo on Instagram.
And feel free
Jules.
to comment on his year being right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well with my name, Julia Cearley, which is spelled JuliaCearley. And with these chumps every week.
Point that way. Don't point at everybody. Him.
All y'alls.
Where can we find you, Nando?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Nandovel, Nandovel. Also here on AfterBuzz for a bunch of shows. Like we just started Scorpion, which is really exciting. Season premiere was today. Walking Dead and Homeland are coming back. Stuff like that.
All right. And
Yeah.
you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe K. Braswell. Thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to be back for season 2. So we'll be back next week.
And our
with
usual day,
episode 2.
our usual day is going to be Tuesday afternoons, right? That's when we're taping this, just so people.
Yeah, I mean,
who listen to us
we'll-
live know.
We'll be up. The new episodes will be up on Tuesdays as opposed to on Mondays.
Yeah.
Show airs Mondays. Our this show will air Tuesdays starting next week.
Got it.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.